Hello, and welcome to On the Turf, hosted by three guys who have never been on the turf. My name is Arjun Narayan.
I'm Sri Balamkanda.
And I'm Rohan Patel. And we're joined...
Hi, I'm Adam Hamdan, big friend of Rohan, the pod, and everyone here, currently dominating the Fantasy Football League. But all things considered, I'm a pretty big Browns fan, so a lot of news we're going to talk about there today as well.
Yeah. I love how...
Arjun, do you want to talk about the Browns a bit?
Are we going to talk about the Browns? I think that's a great question, because the Browns have a lot to talk about this offseason. I mean... Let's be honest, guys. This podcast has been a little notorious for dunking on the Browns for this whole offseason, basically. So it's going to be interesting. This is the first time we've brought on Browns fans. I know we have a couple other Browns fans who have commented specifically towards me whenever we say something about Deshaun Watson or the Steelers being good. We've gotten some hate from there. So, but this is us extending like an olive branch to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. I'm the olive branch guy.
Do they deserve an olive branch, though?
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
For Deshaun Watson?
Let's talk in the vein of talking about, the Browns being terrible and the Jets suddenly turning on the offensive, firepower in the fourth quarter. Let's talk about some overreactions, right? Obviously, we missed last week because of some technical difficulties, but there's been a lot of overreactions by the NFL community at large in the past 2 weeks with the start of the season. And I think no other team has received that more, maybe, than the Miami Dolphins. After Tua Tagovailoa threw 6 touchdowns, tied for the most in franchise history and second in NFL history, and throwing for almost 500 yards. So the overreaction. So I want you guys to tell me, is this an overreaction, or could this actually be true by the end of the year? Are the Miami Dolphins firmly in the Super Bowl conversation? Overreaction or not?
Okay, I'm going to go first. No, Shree, I'm talking first because I've been on the Dolphins train all offseason. You guys all made fun of me. You guys said that Tua Tagovailoa wasn't it. This game proved that he is that guy. I think that it's not an overreaction. They're going to contend for the AFC East with the Buffalo Bills. This offense is just stacked. Tyreek Hill brings a whole other dimension to this office. Mike McDaniels as head coach is clearly paying dues. He's doing wonders. Tua Tagovailoa looks like a franchise quarterback that he was meant to be. And I've been on the hype train all year, and I'm going to stay on it. I think they're going to beat the Bills this week. And that's saying something because I really, really love the Bills. But I'm going to pick the Dolphins over them. And I think that they're going to falter a bit down the stretch, maybe end up in a wild card spot, but they're going to make some noise in the playoffs as well.
I apologize to Tua. I apologize to all Miami Dolphins fans, but I still think this is a complete overreaction. You guys gotta see, they did nothing in those first 3 quarters.
Look at the fourth quarter, 28 points.
That doesn't matter, Rohan. You're never scoring 28 points in a fourth quarter in every single game. That's just one anomaly that Tua has had so far. It was a great game. It was a great performance, but one game doesn't mean anything. And that defense led up 35 points to Lamar Jackson, who I think, the Ravens offense is great, but the AFC still has some pretty great teams. The Chargers are there, the Chiefs are there, you have the Bengals, even though they're 0-2, we'll put that aside, but I don't think they're still in the Super Bowl conversation.
The Bengals? Really? Okay, sure, you can't legitimately tell me the Bengals are a better team than the Dolphins.
I will still, dude, Joe, again.
No, you're done, you're canceled. Sure,
listen,
you're done.
Listen,
Adam, your turn.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. She's canceled, but I do think that there's a little bit of valid in this. It's only week 2. They still have a couple really good teams to play, especially the Buffalo Bills, and I want to see how Tua handles under pressure with a real proper championship caliber team. If we're just going off of week 2 overreactions and calling people Super Bowl contenders, we would have thought the Patriots were out of the running merely just about every single time during their dynasty run.
That
Tua Tagovailoa is that guy. Is what we're failing to see is that he is him. That's the issue.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? In terms of my perspective on this, I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I think the Dolphins are a team capable of making it to the AFC Championship, for example, right? I think they have the offensive firepower, but I saw something online that really made me think about this, right? So yesterday in the fourth quarter, the Ravens were essentially playing single high safety, right? They were only putting one safety in the deep zone, which allowed Tyreek Hill to literally just run past and get open. And same thing for Jalen Waddle, right? Tua's his offensive production was just thrown to these really fast receivers, some of the fastest receivers in the NFL, when they're openly unscathed 20 yards. The closest defender is 20 yards away, right? So in the same way that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went to 2 high safeties in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, with Tyreek Hill being the common denominator here, let's see how these defenses start adapting to the Miami offense now that we, have seen what they're capable of at their full firepower. Because, this isn't, like Shree brought up, this isn't a sustainable production for the Dolphins, but I think the Bills will be a great litmus test next week.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a fun one for you guys. The Arizona Cardinals got embarrassed in Week 1, 44-21 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Just yesterday against the Raiders, they looked like they were in for another blowout. But Kyler Murray, man, he answered the call of duty.
Kyler Murray, don't hate on him.
Okay, we were never hating on Kyler Murray. We were just hating on the Cardinals in general.
Yeah, I think
here's the thing.
The Cardinals, are the worst team in the NFL without Kyler Murray. So my question for you guys is, overreaction or not, will the Cardinals have a top 10 pick in next year's draft? I mean, they're one of the 10 worst teams out of the 32 we have in the league.
What? Actually, that's not a damn question, bro. What are you like? That's not even a question. That's not happening. Right. You should be asking if we're playoff contenders, if we're a possible wild card team, rather than if we're a top 10 team. There's no way that a Kyler Murray-led team finishes in the worst 10 teams in the league. It's disrespectful that you said that. I'm actually very annoyed at you right now because what? Like that's just not realistically happening.
All right, so my impartial opinion. Let's put aside Rohan's biased opinion here because he's a Cardinals fan. I think it's an overreaction to think that there'll be a bottom 10 team to get a top 10 draft pick. I think that they have some easier teams coming up soon, and I feel like DeAndre Hopkins coming back for almost half of the season, a little more than half of the season, will definitely pick up the offense. And when we see Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins together, it's pretty special. So I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Sorry, Rohan, but I don't think they'll have a top 10 pick either.
Also, fun fact, the entire time that Shree took talking was the amount of time that Kyler Murray took running around getting a 2-point conversion. No one else does that but him.
Yeah.
Stop disrespecting the Cardinals.
Not to hate on the Cardinals, but I do have a lot of respect for Kyler. He's that dog. He certainly put on a hell of a show last week, but I just don't think this team has enough weapons to really get them to the playoffs. They got Kyler. He's going to get them wins, but at the end of the day, a quarterback can only take their team.
Are they a bottom 10 team?
I don't see them as a bottom 10 team. I see them as a mid team, like a middle of the road team, kind of middle of the pack.
Okay, I can bear that for now. You should be asking. No, you should be asking.
Ron, I haven't answered the question.
Why were the Steelers not this question? Because the Steelers are a bottom 10 team.
Let me answer this.
Okay, that's just not true. That's
all right. Let me.
They're not a bottom.
Oh, sorry. Who? Mitchell Trubisky is helping you guys out. Really? Mitch Trubisky is that guy. TJ Watt with the torn pec is gonna help you.
Kenny picks a lot.
Kenny picks a lot.
He hasn't thrown any picks yet.
Dumbass players. Talking about not a bottom 10 team.
All right. Let me give my answer real quick.
Wait,
Look, I guess I'm playing devil's advocate here because I do think they will. Look, I love Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray carries that team on his back. The problem is that everything outside Kyler Murray on that team is just bad. The offensive line could not defend Max Crosby for the better part of that game yesterday. It was the Raiders' terrible
Really? Because they held up pretty well when they gave him 22 seconds to throw.
Look, that was one play.
The Raiders' coaching decisions yesterday were absolutely terrible. That's what caused them to lose that game. They were in the driver's seat for the better part of it. The defense has been absolutely torched in the first half by these teams. The Chiefs just kept the gas going, and the Chiefs are a better team than the Raiders right now. Do I think the Cardinals have a chance to be in that middle of the road? I do think they do because of Kyler Murray. I just think the rest of the team, I don't know if Kyler's good enough to really carry that team as much as they need to be.
But let's see them against LA. Let's see them
just wait till they win. Just wait till they win.
Let's see them against LA.
That's a discussion for later.
All right.
So
okay. Next one. Sticking with the AFC. Well, going to the AFC North with this one. All three of us are big AFC North guys. But let's talk about Lamar Jackson. He's had an absolutely crazy start to the season. Even though he lost the Dolphins, I mean, he had almost 400 yards, nearly a perfect passer rating, 100 yards rushing. He's in a contract year. He's betting on himself. Will Lamar Jackson be the MVP this year? Overreaction or not?
All right, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here, guys, if that's okay with you. First of all, Lamar Jackson's been disrespected his entire career. He's got an MVP. He's a tremendous, he is a dual threat quarterback. And this year, I think he's cemented himself as one of the best passers in the league. No question whatsoever. He looked amazing, against the Dolphins. I think he already has 6 touchdowns already, and he already has a touchdown on the ground. I don't think it's an overreaction to consider him as an MVP. But you know what really pisses me off about it's the Ravens management. What do I offer Lamar Jackson? There's no reason why Lamar should be on a team. Does he have the best weapons? No, he doesn't. Does he have an offensive line? No, he doesn't. Does he have a running back? No, he doesn't. Does he have a good defense? No, he doesn't. He has rookies in the secondary that are giving up massive amounts of yards to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I'm sorry. That was not necessary, but I don't think so.
Sure, it was completely necessary. Yeah. I 110% agree. You said everything I wanted to say.
Yes. So Lamar Jackson, MVP candidate, not an overreaction.
All right, here's the one thing about Lamar real quick. I think we have the Cleveland Browns to actually thank for the fact that Lamar Jackson hasn't gotten a contract. Because the Browns, in their desperation to get a franchise quarterback, paid Deshaun Watson $250 million guaranteed. I think that's the point. And Lamar wants that money, and I think Lamar deserves that money far more than Deshaun Watson does, and especially after these first 2 games.
That's true.
So, I've been on, I don't want to say Lamar hate train. I think for the past couple of years, I've said, Lamar needs to prove himself as a passer. I think last year and this year has proved himself as a top passer in this league. So the Ravens should give him a bag because another desperate team like the Giants or the Seahawks or one of these teams in free agency next year will certainly give it to him if the Ravens don't.
I have 2 opinions on this, one on the MVP and the other on the whole Deshaun Watson $250 million, because I do think that's a problem. So first, on terms of the Ravens, I think it's an overreaction, but it's not going to be because of Lamar. I think the problem with the MVP award is that a part of it is your team has to win, and I see the Ravens as basically the AFC's version of the Cardinals. It's a one-man show. You got Lamar running the show, and you got Lamar taking over.
Who else is winning the AFC North then?
Who else is winning the AFC North?
Don't you dare say the goddamn Cleveland Browns.
Look, we're not even going to say the Steelers.
There's a lot of flawed teams. It's not necessarily that this division is overall very good. It's just that all these teams are so close together that it's anyone's game. It's going to be a complete bloodbath, and I'm here for it. But it's a bloodbath of mediocrity, so it's going to be great. But then, onto the $250 million, I think the Ravens are a little hesitant. And they shouldn't, I fully blame the Ravens for not getting him enough weapons. As a Browns fan, I'm very happy they don't have a lot of weapons, but as a Ravens fan, it would be very frustrating. This is the problem when you give a quarterback that shit ton of money, is they don't have the money to go out and buy other weapons. It's you're effectively just putting all your money in a great quarterback and then hoping for all these rookie deals and veteran discounts for all these other guys. And if that's what the Ravens are hesitant about, go out and buy another wide receiver or something. But they honestly need to make a move. They can't play this middle of the road game.
But let's move on to the last one. Sticking in the North, in the AFC North, talking about neither of our 2 teams, but the Cincinnati Bengals, the Super Bowl runner-up from last year, starting 0-2, losing to the Cooper Rush-led Dallas Cowboys. Didn't see that coming. I think all of us picked that as our blowout of the week, but they lost on a game-winning field goal. Will the Bengals, overreaction or not, be a below 500 team this year?
I'll take this one because, I've been predicting this since the beginning of the season. Really, I'm a genius. I'm a prophet, one could say. Listen, I said this in the offseason. The Bengals are going to have a Super Bowl hangover. Last year was a fluke. I said they weren't going to win the division. I said they weren't going to make the playoffs, and I think we're on track for that to happen. Now, losing to the Dallas Cowboys, the Cooper Rush-led Dallas Cowboys, wasn't on my bingo card, but I think it supports my point quite a bit. I think that they're not a good team. They're really going to fall apart a bit this year, and I don't think it's an overreaction to say they're under 500, especially considering how bad they've looked. This isn't preseason, These 2 losses are 2 losses. They're already starting on their way there.
Yeah, I am going to agree, and I'm going to take it one step further. So I do not like the Bengals right now. They have a horrible offensive line. Joe Burrow is at a risk of getting injured. And, it's just T. Higgins and Jamari Chase can't do everything. T. Higgins can barely do, anything. And I know because I have him on fantasy, and he's been pretty frustrating.
Yeah, he scored 19 yesterday.
Yeah, 19, yeah. But, the game before that, kind of. So I will see how they go. But right now, and I think you guys might like this take as well, I see the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Browns as better teams than them because they have better weapons. that can like do more. Like the Browns.
Wait.
Better weapons.
The Steelers have better weapons than the Bengals.
Okay,
I just think the Steelers like would beat the Bengals.
They did beat the Bengals.
Yeah, and I think they'll do it again.
Okay, so all right, this Bengals defense wasn't really good. That wasn't like the best in the league. It was not a top 10 defense last year, and like they had a horrible offensive line last year. And by no means am I a Bengals fan, right? Like coming from the AFC North, like why would I be? But having them under 500, that's just disrespect. I mean, sure they've had a couple of bad games, but you're not facing Micah Parsons like every single week. Also, Micah Parsons, like I think he's a front runner for the Defensive Player of the Year. Just like sidebar, but like he looked amazing, but. They're going to be above 500. I don't think they're going to win the division. I actually have the Ravens winning the division, but...
funny how everyone switches up now.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, like, I'm not going to
I had the Ravens winning the entire offseason, and these guys both had the Bengals.
They both had the Bengals?
Yeah.
All right, okay, Rohan. But yeah, I think under
Shri, tell me I'm right. Tell me I'm right, Shri.
Okay, again,
the Super Bowl,
guys, week 3 is not kicked off yet. Like, it is not January yet. We still have time, but...
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree with Shri here. I do think it's a little bit of an overreaction to say they're a below 500 team. The one thing I'll say is the offensive line, right? Offensive line, more than anything, is a team unit, right? I think give the Bengals a little more time. Let the offensive line, their new acquisitions, they had 3 new acquisitions on that offensive line. Let them gel together. I mean, I don't think Burrow is blind to what everyone is saying about him. He's taking a lot of sacks. He's getting a lot of sacks. Or he's receiving a lot of sacks, rather. So I think give it a little time. As Aaron Rodgers said, relax. I think this Bengals team is going to be fine. I think the Ravens are going to win this division as well. Rohan, I guess you're right. But I think the Bengals are still a wild card team. Burrow, Chase, and Higgins are just, they're 3 of the just a great trio in a AFC filled with offensive talent. So sticking in the AFC North, let's move to the Thursday night game for this week in Week 3, Steelers versus Browns. This is why we brought Adam on, really. So let's talk about this game. 2 very different teams, both of them with backup quarterbacks. I don't think either of these guys are obviously going to be the starters by the end of the season, but these 2 teams face in the final game of the season in Week 18. So primetime game, Steelers-Browns. We've seen a lot happen between primetime Steelers-Browns in the past. Thursday night, a couple years ago, we saw Myles Garrett try to kill Mason Rudolph. So hopefully...
I hope something like that happens. Well, no, I don't hope that happens again.
Hey, dude, okay, here's the thing. Mitch is a nice guy, man.
Entertaining happens.
Rohan.
Because
first Trey Lance, now Mason Rudolph? Like,
stop with the Trey Lance stuff, okay? Stop with the Trey Lance stuff. We'll get to that later. But no, what I meant was this game is going to be... I'm going to turn this game off by halftime, not because it's like a blowout, just because it's going to be so damn boring. No one wants to watch Jacoby Brissett duel Mitch Trubisky in primetime. I still don't know why we keep talking about the Steelers in our weekly previews. No one cares. Anyways, Adam, what's your thoughts on this game?
Okay, so I do have a few more eloquent thoughts than Rohan over here, who doesn't like talking about the AFC North and just wants to talk about the Rams and the Cardinals, which I respect.
Yes, actually.
But my 2 cents here, I think this is going to be a fun game. It's not going to be anything like Bills versus Rams or any shit like that, but I think these teams are going to put up a fight against each other. Personally, for me, I'm obviously going to pick the Browns. I like the Browns, and I think the offense has been not great, but it's been decent for the most part. They scored 30 points last week. They had a high-scoring affair, I think maybe it was 21, something like that, the week before. So it's this is a team that's finding a way to get touchdowns without a god-tier quarterback. And so I think they're going to be certainly fun and are going to give the Steelers trouble. Also, Myles Garrett, D-point.
The Browns do worry me. First of all, scoring 30 points, I wonder what that's like. I haven't seen 30 points in a while. The Steelers offense, man, that's hard to watch. I mean, that first game against the Bengals, it was all defense, and I think the defense did the best it could yesterday against the Patriots. But I mean, the Patriots don't even have a good offense, and we lost to them. Come on. The problem with the Browns is I actually think the Browns may be the best offense that the Steelers have faced yet this season. that running game has been doing really well for the Browns, even against the Panthers. They had, I mean, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both did really well, and they had over 150 yards rushing against the Jets yesterday. And I will say this, the Jacoby Brissett, until that last 2 minutes, basically, he played a pretty damn good game.
Yeah.
So I am worried about the Browns. The one thing I will say is I'm still undecided on who I'm going to pick for this game. I do think it's going to be close, but I think the Steelers' defense is going to create some problems for Jacoby Brissett. This is a divisional game on a short week. The Browns are coming off a highly emotional loss. The Steelers, they had a loss as well, but I think there's more to take away from the Steelers' loss than there is to the Browns. So, and the Steelers are certainly always just eternally pissed at the Browns for whatever reason. So, I do expect the Steelers' defense to keep this game close, but please, just give me Kenny Pickett next week. It's a short week. I don't want to see him this week. But against the Jets in Week 4, I want to off this Mr. Trubisky train.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to say the exact same thing word for word, about the Browns worrying me, genuinely, Arjun. But this Steelers defense has got to do something. They need to get a touchdown to set the tone for the game or something at this point. That's exactly what happened against the Bengals. I'm just praying that Jacoby Brissett just throws a pick six to get it started so that we can get something going. If they didn't run well against the Patriots defense, I feel like the Browns defense is on a similar tier. I don't know what's the offense is abysmal. Genuinely a top bottom 5 offense in the league. I don't know what to say anymore. I'll take the Steelers, but it's just because I'm from Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess kind of just with that, the one thing that as a Browns fan I'm happy about, but I pray for a speedy recovery, is TJ Watt. Wasn't he just recently injured? That's a huge hole in the defense, and I think it might just open up some stuff for Jacoby Brissett. Now, this is not to say that Jacoby Brissett's going to have an air raid over the Steelers or anything. I think he'll make a couple well-placed slot passes, maybe 1 or 2 nice passes for 10, 15 yards, and then just really go and try to run it down the Steelers' throats. That's been the game plan the past 2 games. And so I think with that, it's going to be really hard for the Steelers, especially without TJ Watt, to try to stop Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, imagine having bad quarterbacks. That just couldn't be me. I mean, see, me personally, I'm not looking forward to the 10-6 game. That's going to be the score at the end of the day. I'm looking forward more to seeing if, Joe Flacco is better than Mitch Trubisky. I think that's going to be our biggest takeaway of Thursday.
Dude, honestly, after seeing Mitch, I agree with you. Joe Flacco, honestly...
Wow. You finally saw the light after the whole offseason of saying Mitch is that guy. Anyways, let's move on to an actual game. Bills, Dolphins.
Oh, that's
now this is a fun game. This is football, guys. This, after that shit show, we get to watch an actual game on Sunday. This one's going to be really fun. Obviously, we're recording this before Monday Night Football, so we haven't seen how the Bills come out against the Titans. But just based on that Rams performance, I'm assuming they're going to win. I'm assuming we're going to see a high-powered offense, and I'm assuming we're going to see a lot of points in Bills Dolphins. It's going to be probably a very pass-heavy game from both sides. They both love throwing the ball to their great receivers. Really, I think this is just a really hard game to predict. Obviously, I think the Bills are a bit better overall on defense, but I'm going to take the Dolphins. Running a new offensive scheme always works in the first couple of weeks. They've clearly tripped up their first 2 opponents with their offense, and I think they'll do it again with the Bills. But that's not to say that the Bills are a worse team. I just think that they'll get caught off guard this one time. But be ready for the Bills to really run the table for the next few games after this week.
Listen, for me, I'm going to take the Bills. The Dolphins don't really have a run game going on. The game that they had against the Ravens was against a secondary that was filled with rookies that had no idea what they were doing. I feel like this Bills secondary is amazing. Is Trey White coming back?
Trey White's not coming back till Week 5, I don't think.
Okay. Well, they still got Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, who are amazing, safeties. I just need some more consistency from the Dolphins and from Tua, just for me to be comfortable about the Dolphins in general. I'm going to take the Bills because I know what Josh Allen is. I know what the variables are, so I'm going to go with the Bills on this one.
Absolutely agree. Could not have said it better myself. That's exactly my concerns. And I think this Bills defense, at least after week 1, pretty good defense. So I think Tua is going to have some growing pains, at least early on in that game. And really how he responds to that is going to set the tone for the game.
Yeah, I agree with both Trey and Adam. I think the Bills are going to take this one. I wouldn't be surprised later in the season if the Dolphins take one against Buffalo. All right.
Why do we have less conversation about this game than the freaking Steelers and Browns? Why? Who cares? Let's talk about this game.
Rohan,
There's
you
so
just
much
hate
fun
AFC
stuff.
North football, all right? AFC North football is vintage football, defense, running game, no offense whatsoever. That's football, man.
If we had vintage football, we'd still be living in, like, segregated housing, bro. Okay, I don't want vintage football. I don't want this shit.
All right. Rohan asked us to add this game. It wasn't on the plan because I think 3 out of the 4 people on this podcast right now are going to pick one team, and Rohan's going to pick another one. Let's talk Rams-Cardinals. The Rams have not looked amazing the past couple weeks. They almost lost to the Falcons. I do think the Falcons are better than we thought they would be. And obviously, they just got absolutely smacked by the Bills in the season opener. But I just think the Rams are simply a better team and a better coach team. That's the thing that really sets it apart for me. Cliff has not shown to be a very good coach, especially second half of last season and this season as well. Kyler really does it all for him. I don't think Kyler's going to be enough. Rohan, I hate to bring this up, but we could see another flashback to that wild card game from last year. Let's just hope Kyler doesn't throw a pick six in the
Arjun,
end zone
don't
again.
do that. Don't do that, Arjun. Because first off, the Rams are not as good as they were last year. Right? Let's get that out there. Second, Kyler Murray, bro. Kyler, I don't know what his middle name is. Kyler Murray. He is that guy. I'm gonna stand up for this part. Think about it. Kyler Murray, I don't look like I could be an NFL player, right? I'm kind of skinny. Realistically, I'm not that tall. You got Kyler Murray. He's like an inch shorter than me, and this kid balls out, bro. Who? Yes, he's an inch shorter than me. He's 5'11".
Oh my god.
That was also to plug that I'm 6 foot, by the way. But anyways, point is,
completely necessary fact to tell the world, right?
No one does it like him, bro. No one just sits there, runs around a little bit, finds an open receiver on an untimed 2-point conversion, and gets no one does it like that. And the Rams have looked not great. I mean, their defense wasn't good against the Falcons, and the Cardinals are going to have a higher powered offense than the Falcons.
Yeah,
that's debatable.
Don't give me that look,
debatable.
Arjun. Okay, Marcus Mariota compared to
man,
Kyler Murray,
Drake London's the real deal.
That's true.
AJ Green, Marquise Brown, Zach Ertz. We have I agree. They're not not one of them stands out as completely elite, but there are a ton of good, solid options around him. And I think that'll be enough against the Rams, who are really struggling this year.
All right, Adam, you go ahead.
Okay, don't get mad. I am picking the Rams, but I'm gonna try to have a very reasonable take because I'm in a small room with Rohan and I don't want to die. So for this, I think Kyler Murray is that guy. I will say that. I think in terms of the quarterback, they have the advantage here. He's better than Matt Stafford. That's not a controversial take. But from that, I think at just about every other position for the most part, unless there's a really good Cardinal that I'm forgetting and I apologize. I think the Rams are better at just about everything else. This is a team that has too many weapons, too much talent, too many stars to not go out there and at least perform all right. This team is too talented to keep in this rut for too long.
Okay, so contrary to Adam, I'm actually located 400 miles away from Rohan, so I don't care what he thinks.
Shree, I will find you, Shree.
But Rohan, your defense is trash. You're not guarding Cooper Kupp. You're not guarding Allen Robinson.
Sorry. What was Devontae Adams' stat line? What was the stat line?
Look, Derek Carr's on some other shit this season. I don't know what the hell.
2 catches, 12 yards, and a touchdown. 2 catches for 12 yards.
That's
Hunter Renfrow had 50 yards. Waller had 50 yards. We won on a defensive touchdown. They didn't score shit in the fourth quarter or overtime.
Shree, just let him get it out. All right, just let him get it out.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm safe.
Breathe,
I'm in Pittsburgh.
Breathe.
I feel like the Rams defense is really good. I think that Arizona Cardinals offense got kind of lucky at the end with that that defensive fumble recovery and touchdown. So I'm going to go with the Rams on this one. Sorry, Rohan.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our 425 game. I believe America's game of the week. Rematch, we've seen this a couple seasons now. Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay might be without their top 3 receivers. Mike Evans just got suspended for the Lattimore thing. We can dive into that some other time. That was complete BS in my opinion. Chris Godwin was out last week, and same for Julio Jones. So we could be seeing Scotty Miller being the wide receiver 1 for the Buccaneers. But it's not like Aaron Rodgers has much on the other side. Who do you guys think to Hall of Fame first ballot quarterbacks who's taking it here. I'm going to take the Packers. I think that running game is just too good. The Buccaneers offense has been limited the past 2 games. That defense can only do so much, and I think the Packers will take this one en route to a Super Bowl appearance.
I'm not going to curse. I'm not going to curse. You need to freaking stop with that, because the Packers are not good. They got wrecked by the Vikings, and they beat the Bears like they're supposed to. Sure, they might win this game if the Bucs are really that thin at wide receiver. But even that, actually, no. They're not winning this game regardless, because their running game is their one strength, and that's the one thing that the Buccaneers are sure as hell going to take away. The Buccaneers that's been the Buccaneers' MO for like the last 2 years. Their run defense has been stifling. No one gets past them, and I don't think Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are going to be enough for him either. I don't know what your obsession is with the Packers, but like you need serious help.
I'm the one. I'm the one who needs help. I'm the one who needs help.
He makes a good point. But anyways, even if the Buccaneers receivers are out, I trust the Bucs defense more than I trust the Packers defense, and for that reason, the Bucs get a win.
Yeah, kind of just like going off of that, not to pick like a bit of an average answer again. Rodgers has looked kind of rough these first few games
because he doesn't have receivers.
Yeah, really? He doesn't have receivers.
I thought he looked. I thought he looked great in the Bears game
on the ground. And, like, overall, like, he's not looking like that MVP Rodgers, and it's because of those weapons. And I think when you're going up against the Bucs, you need to at least, like, show up, perform, and do really well, which is something, like, he can't do right now. Like, the Packers are a little too thin-stripped. Listen, I like Rodgers. I was rooting for him to get another Super Bowl. But I just don't think, like, this team can, like, beat the Bucs.
I just trust Tom Brady more than Aaron Rodgers right now. Sorry, Arjun. He looked great against the Bears, but the Buccaneers are not the Bears, so... I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. Sorry.
In fact, hot take: Packers aren't making the playoffs this year. Anyways, let's move on.
So last game, Sunday Night Football, we have the San Francisco 49ers, now led by Jimmy Garoppolo, facing off against Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos. Look, let's address the elephant in the room. We haven't talked about this entire podcast. The Trey Lance injury is obviously very unfortunate. Rohan, I'm gonna give you the floor right now to issue your statement because you've said a lot about Trey Lance the past couple months.
You've been preying on his downfall.
You have. You really have.
Like,
no, Shree.
All right, Shree,
don't say that. Don't say that, Shree.
He has the floor.
He has the floor.
Listen, first off, I want to apologize by saying, well, no, I'm not apologizing for what I've said in the past. I'm apologizing as Trey Lance. I really hope it's a devastating. Let's be real. It's a devastating injury. He's out for the entire year. I wish him speedy recovery. Hopefully he can come back. And he can come back to full strength after his injury. But at the end of the day, I will stand by the fact that his full strength, frankly, isn't much. I stand by the fact that I don't think Trey Lance was a good quarterback. But I would never wish injury upon anyone. I'm actually quite sad that he won't be able to play this entire season because I really wanted to see how he would progress. And
did you?
Yeah, I don't know.
I never preyed on his downfall. I just thought that he was going to be a bad quarterback. I thought he was going to get replaced by Jimmy G.
No, you were just excited.
I hope he didn't do well as a quarterback. I hope he didn't do well because I'm a Cardinals fan. I don't want the Niners to do
Rohan,
well.
You didn't.
Monday Night Football, Niners Broncos. Honestly, this game excited me. Week 1, it doesn't excite me anymore. I think that the Broncos have been kind of meh this year. The Niners, I guess, Jimmy G just makes it seem more meh. Like, I think there are going to be 2 mid-tier teams duking it out. Trey Lance would at least provide us some excitement as to, like, what he brings in a primetime game. But Jimmy Garoppolo is just, like, I think he makes the Niners maybe a bit better at this point, but he doesn't elevate their ceiling, maybe. So for that reason, I guess I'll go with the Broncos. I mean, they have more talent overall. I trust Russ in a primetime game more. But the coaching could be the factor here. Kyle Shanahan is significantly better than Nathaniel Hackett, and we could see that could be something that sets the Niners over the top. We'll see.
Yeah. Not to use a little college football terminology, but this is definitely the pillow fight of the week. But I really do think that the Broncos, for a lot of the reasons Rohan said, but I think my hot take on this game is most definitely that Rohan manifested this injury.
Look, we can't prove it, but look, the signs are pointing that way. Rohan didn't prey on his downfall. He just, wished for Trey Lance to do absolutely terrible every single week so he could be proved right. So,
I did wish that. No, I did wish that. I didn't wish him
But no, you
for
didn't
his
pray on his
ankle to be
downfall.
twisted
Right,
the
yeah,
wrong
you did.
direction.
Anyway, Shuri?
You strongly implied it.
Yeah, just keep telling yourselves that. Okay, anyway. Here, listen, I think George Kittle's coming back for the 49ers. I think he has an amazing connection with Jimmy G. I think Nathaniel Hackett is just ruining this Broncos offense. Dude, Russell Wilson was like 4 for 20 against like the Texans over like the first 3 quarters. Like, that's just terrible. I've never seen Russell Wilson put those numbers up ever. And I think, this 49ers secondary, they look really good. I think getting George Kittle back, I think Jimmy G knows the system pretty well. Kyle Shanahan's a better coach. I think the 49ers are taking this. I'm sorry, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think this has blow-up potential for me. I think the coaching disparity is just the biggest thing. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches in the NFL. Nathaniel Hackett has had some absolutely baffling coaching decisions over these past 2 games. I don't think the Broncos offense has elevated themselves to their potential. Jerry Jeudy might be out for this game as well, which means Russ will be exclusively relying on Courtland Sutton. That Nick Bosa is going to get after Russell Wilson. And I think that Niners team, I was really excited, unlike Rohan, to see Trey Lance's potential this season. But I will say right now, with Jimmy G, that team is a Super Bowl squad. So I think they will roll,
for sure.
and I think they will go to the playoffs. And I think this could be the start of something really, really big for the Niners this year. All right, but that's it for our Week 3 preview. We have a lot of other games in Week 3 that we couldn't get to, but you can check out all of our picks for Week 3 on our Instagram, along with Fantasy Team of the Week and obviously our weekly episodes. Thank you so much to Adam for coming on for this episode. We really enjoyed it. Let's see what happens with Steelers-Browns. But I'm gonna be honest, I might pick the Browns. But thanks so much, Adam.
Yeah.
We hope to have you back on the show soon.
Fake fan right there.
My name is Arjun Ryan.
I'm Sri Baumkonda.
I'm Rohan Patel.
And I'm Adam Hamdan. Good night.
And we'll see you in Week 4 on the turf.